Good morning, fellow RTA freaks. It's Uncle Valk here, and the end of the Oath season is upon us. As is tradition on this here channel, last week of the season, I will always make an RTA tips and tricks video as a last-minute booster shot for anyone willing to climb to hit their goal for this season. Whether your goal is to hit it and quit it for that Briarwitch skin, or all the way up for pushing the steps of legend alongside myself, these are some of the most valuable experiences I learned this entire season, distilled down to the essence to give you that final boost if you need it to make your goal. So let's get it. This should go without saying, but the first decision you make each match is deciding what to pre-ban versus your opponent. And ever since the matches are played blind without seeing your opponent's name, the best approach to this is tailoring your pre-bans to your overarching strategy, giving you the best chance of success. So let me use myself as an example. My current pre-bans are Zeo and Nadalon Monk Naquol, which is a strategy I picked up from AB, an E7WC competitor. Check him out on Twitch. These two are generally a slightly more beaten off the path pre-ban as far as I know, but the reasoning is very simple. One of my best speed set gear is on my Conqueror Lilius, who is an extremely competent speed opener for the 2 years of her existence in the game. In fact, she could almost go toe-to-toe with the newly released Sea Phantom Politis, which is the exact reason I have her on my fastest set of gear. It gives me a narrow margin of victory to outspeed at a legend level. Zeo happens to be a character that gets a free turn 1 combat readiness boost and can stop my Lilius dead in her tracks, turning her into a net negative in my draft. See, Lilius's best partner in crime is Navy Captain Landy, who is an absolute monster when built 0 speed and full damage. Her activation condition is randomly being pulled by the Lilius or counterattacking through Elber's Ritual Sword while she's off her turn. Both of those things are hard checked if Naquol is in the game and lands bind on her. Now, my core strategy revolves around Conqueror Lilius and ML Landy every match I can get them. Is it the best strategy? Absolutely not. Sometimes Landy falls asleep at the wheel and see Lilius only dual attack with the other support and I look like an idiot. But these two units are good enough to win me most matches as long as I can favorably draft them, and removing Zeo and Naquol gives me the best matchup versus the rest of the roster in the game. And as far as I'm concerned, Navy Captain Landy has a chance to steal every single match. So with my vast roster of standard units, taking one unit that stops fast units and taking one that stops slow units gives me the most comfort to play this mid-range to mid-fast speed game. But if you are a 0 speed gamer, don't worry, I got you with the tech as well. Just pick 2 of these and pre-ban them. Preferably 2 you have the least amount of solution for, as they're all competent unit at bullying slow players. The moment you let them take a turn, and mind you, none of them are particularly fast outside of the new one, ML Poly, they're just too good at bullying slow players who don't have speed. And you just ban 2 of them and prepare your counters for the other 2. On the opposite end, if you're a cleaver or play exclusively aggressive drafts, you're definitely banning 2 of these 3, as all 3 of them are knights with access to Elber's Ritual Sword and a deadly counterattack that has a chance to instantly end your aggression on any single composition. Landy is just an auto ban here, since for most cleavers, anti-crit plus counterattacks is just way too much. Bellion is a great ban if you play a lot of ML Ludwig, Politis, and other mages that like Tagahel's Ancient Book for soul burns, and Euphine is probably your ban if your game is based around Faithless Lidica and Flan, as they much rely on their combat readiness. Now, if you're a new player and you just want to hit masters for the skin, no bullshit, none of that, here's a few freebies for you. So if you're so new and you just started right before Overlord, what I would do is take advantage of the strongest character you probably have access to, Janua. Pre-ban Politis and take that bad boy Janua, and you got to first pick him every single game. Make sure you have at least one other good carry to kind of just mix and match with him and do your best to keep him free from debuffs. That should get you to masters pretty effortlessly. If you started right before that, what you can do is just ban Death Dealer Ray and first pick Laya every single match. Not only can she support your team through these nasty speed openers, if your carry gets dropped, she somehow has enough damage with her soul burn as well to carry a match. Like, how ridiculous is that? Honestly, I think this tip alone should be enough to get most of you guys to masters, but if you want to stick around and get some more freeload tips, shit bro, I got you, coming right up. RTA is a draft game, period. If your draft is good, the only thing that can take your win away is speed, counterattack, maybe dual attack RNG. There's this myth floating around that you need top tier gear, especially speed gear, to end Legend. But as far as I'm concerned, that's just a myth, and I'll talk more about that later. But for now, all you need to know is how to start drafting well. And from my experience, whenever I help newer players, one of the things they always get lost on is they just don't know where to start. Now, while I have put out content in the past that details what compositions are good in RTA, people get stuck on the exact units, like, well, you know, in the video you said I should first pick this, followed by these two, and then no, okay, let's not get twisted. Keeping a draft structure is good, but at the end of the day, what you really want to do is counterplay your opponents, just with solid logic. So let's make an example of one of the drafts I played literally today. And since I'm first pick, well, I said I'd first pick Conqueror Lilius every single game, so I'm going to stick with my strategy. My opponent here picks Laya to cleanse the debuffs, and Albedo is an extremely competent tank versus aggression, which I'm sure my opponent is pre-picking since he looks at my pre-bans and go, this guy looks kind of aggressive. Despite the Albedo, I'm still going to take Navy Captain Landy. I mean, I think she's just that good. Since both Laya and Albedo scales with health for me, and I have no access to Death Dealer Ray, Urban Shadow Shu is probably the best unit to take here for me. Then after, my opponent takes Ocean Breeze Luluka to counter the Conqueror Lilius to land both Blind and Silence on my carries here. Pretty scary. Arya is also a great defense scaling bruiser to take since she's okay versus Navy Captain Landy, who needs to ramp up fighting spirit before she can penetrate defense, and she's great versus ML Shu, since being completely single target means she'll always have to hit into Arya, which can then just hide her allies and counterattack the Shu and put me at a disadvantage. So to have a chance to win here means I need to one pick to counter the Luluka and one pick to counter the Arya, but ideally I have two picks that counter both, and that's where the skill comes in. The reason I don't care about their last pick is since we have one ban, we can always ban their last unit to make sure any combination of our 5 units beat his top 4. If you're new to this channel, this is the oldest rule of thumb to playing first pick position. If you're playing second pick, you'll find that tip somewhere on the channel, I promise. First, Solitaria comes out as she blocks both Luluka and Arya's focus. These are focus characters, and Solitaria instantly shuts that down. ML Kawazu comes out as 3 of his characters have an AoE ability they activate, which lets him pop off, cleanse the debuffs, and just absolutely blow up one target. And here, since he has one main DPS, his Arya, no better picks here. After we lock it in, we can just ban last. My opponent is in Legend, so I'm sure he's great at last picking. But no matter what it is, I don't care. We just ban it, and we have a counter to every single one of his win conditions. Outside of that draft specifically, here are a few freebies for you guys if you guys ever get stuck in the draft. If you're having trouble with Navy Captain Landy, the default solution is Lone Crescent Bellona. Outside of ML5s, you can try Biblis, Karina, and Laya, who either can crowd control her or have damage output that doesn't rely on critical hits. Don't try to Elvira her, since a high damage Landy like mine will still be able to melt teams through no fighting spirit. To deal with Conqueror Lilius, hit her with Zio or Ran if you play aggressively, but from turn 2, any cleansers like Laya, Lulukar, and Bunny Dominion can instantly revert most of the advantage a Lilius creates while setting up your team with a comparable amount of buffs. For that bad boy Janua, aggressive players can always field a Politis to trigger him, strip him, do a lot of damage, limit his CR push, and then finish him off. That's almost always an instant kill. Slow players should opt for any of these blue bruisers to hunker down and just pray he misses the crit. If you're losing games to Laya stall, just know that you have 2 options. You either nuke her instantly or play injury to counter the stall. So the best nukers here are Gala Lilius and Strays, which fully penetrate defense against high HP targets. The best injury units against her are Death Dealer Ray and ML Shu. If you don't have these premier ML5 units, then you gotta fall back to units like Alencia, Ilanov, and Sharoon. Another annoying character is ML Yufine, though she's a lot easier to handle now that we have Janua as an RGB DPS carry, who should be winning versus her super hard every single time. Besides him, I think Elvira is absolutely great here, and Aiden or LQC, I mean Aiden is free, are just great bruisers that can just nuke her and pop. she no longer exists. Lastly, I know you guys are gonna ask for this, and no, there are no turn 2 solutions to Sea Phantom Politis. She's just broken like that. You can cleave her if you're extremely fast, or be extremely tanky and just tank out the damage that her team brings. There's no really better way at the time I'm writing the video, and yes, card games that print broken cards usually go through the same thing as we're going through right now with ML Politis. It is what it is. And by the way, if you guys need to see stats for any of these characters that you want to aim for, I catalog most of the meta PvP builds that either I run or I come across in Legend in the stats catalog in the Discord server. It'll have builds, tips, and multiple playstyles, and a video or short when they're relevant. So if you need assistance on that end, that's where you can find information for that. The last tip of the season for you guys that I have: play the game. You know, I really wish the tip was a bit more sophisticated, but that really is how strategy games go. Experience really is the ultimate thing that gives you the edge to overcome these challenges you'll come across on the PvP ladder. It also loops back to an earlier concept that drafting is most of the game in RTA, and with experience, having units and gear is just part of that drafting process. So how can you increase your experience, right? Hey, maybe some of you guys have work, some of you guys have school, and that's where these two guys come in. So the players I want to highlight, you know, as much as I like to push my own streams and want you guys to come over watch some RTA streams, I think you guys can check these guys out as well. The first one is Ace Trainer, currently ranked 47 on the ladder. I'll be linking his Twitch down below. And the other one is Traptrix at rank 75. Both of these guys are monthly pack only players that I'ma just be honest, I outgear both of these guys and they just fucking run my cheeks. Every fucking time I play them, they clap my cheeks. Obviously, I'm repping them because they're my friends and guildmates, but at the end of the day, they're both extremely dedicated and intelligent individuals that use their brain to beat other people's wallets. And I say that with myself included. They're better players than me, and if you guys want to look at better players that don't rely on gear, they are who I would recommend. Yeah, and I'll be sure to be linking their not only Twitch, but also their e7.ggs down below, so if you want to, you could definitely stalk their match history. and of course, I want to highlight my boy Traptrix here specifically, since not only is he one of the lowest spending players I've seen hit Legend, with a very flexible playstyle, mind you. He plays decently fast if you give him the opportunity to. Look at some of the fastest units he has, his openers, his cringe speed openers on his account. I mean, if he can hit Legend consistently playing these builds, I'm sure you can hit whatever it is that your goal is, guys. Like, I'm serious when I say you really just have to play the game to get good. So, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful, and if you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and okay. Are they gone yet, guys? Are they gone? I mean it, like, I'm about to tell you guys, the loyal full video viewers, one last secret. Okay, it's only you guys left, right? And this is actually a draft I accidentally found playing the season, literally like in the past week. So if you watch the stream in the past week, you already know the draft, because every time I play it, I'm having a fit, I'm laughing. It's a fun draft, and you're almost guaranteed to win if no RNG goes severely wrong. The only prerequisite is for your goal, like if you want to reach Emperor, you gotta be confident that you have the average speed of an Emperor, and then you can confidently play this. It's a free Emperor frame, like I promise. And the linchpin here is a newly buffed ML Roana, which I don't think people are respecting enough in drafts. The core is literally 7 units, and you can just hit Emperor if you have like 8 more units geared to support them. I won't make it too easy and just tell you guys, yeah, you just gear this like this, because this is, I mean, also like we're kind of short on time, and it's last week, I gotta do my own grind. So feel free to stalk my match history, or, you know, stalk the stream if you guys want to find out the sauce for actually how to play this playstyle. As always, stats will be available in the Discord for your reference. But yeah, I've taught this draft to a few people, and if you can understand the basics of how like 15 units work, free Emperor. Yay! But yeah, that's the real ending of this video. If you have any questions, I'll try to get to them in the comment section before the end of the season, and you're always welcome to join the Discord and ask any of the other high-ranking players for help. Just keep in mind, it is the end of the season, people are climbing, so it's everyone for themselves right now. But after this week, I'm sure more people will have free time to help newer players. So, that's the real ending. That's all I got for you guys for this one. Good luck on your climbs, stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.